Live from downtown Vancouver at the Vancouver Film School campus, it's time for EP Live. Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest and everything cool. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming here, guys. It's awesome. We've got a great show for you today. Our buddy Jose Fubar Sanchez is in the house. Well, he's in the Skype today, but he's going to be coming up a little bit later to talk about his love of wrestling, which we all know about very well. He got a chance to check out WWE 2K20 and talk to some pro wrestlers, so we're going to catch up with him, and he's going to tell us all about that very soon. We've also got lots of reviews on the run for you, and of course we have a rundown, which is dedicated to Malone Raphael, who says, "Holy F, it took me a bit to realize who and what I was watching. Electric Playground and reviews on the run. I used to make my mom pay extra to get their channel on TV. Those were good times." Thank you so much, Malone Raphael. This rundown is all yours. No joke, Jared Leto has been let go from the DC movie universe. The Suicide Squad actor has reportedly parted ways with DC and Warner Brothers and will not be reprising the role of the Joker in future films. This follows rumors that Leto was very unhappy with the studio creating another version of the Joker played by Joaquin Phoenix, and there are even unconfirmed reports that Leto and his agents tried to prevent the movie from being made. The film, incidentally, is now on track to earn more than Suicide Squad. Joaquin Phoenix has repeatedly stated that his Joker is a one-off and won't appear in other DC movies. If true, this would mean DC needs to hire yet another new actor to bring the character back in future movies. And Robert Pattinson's been on the promotional trail for The Lighthouse, and he's said that there is no way that his Batman and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker are ever going to cross paths, which is unfortunate because I think that would be amazing. They coexist in different universes. I kind of understand Jared Leto's frustration because I'm sure he didn't realize he was going to be in such a shitty movie with Suicide Squad when he was making it, and then he probably saw it and was like, what the hell happened here? But the minute they painted damaged on Jared Leto's forehead, you knew that Joker was not going to be around for that long, man. That was just such a piss-poor take on the character, even though he is a terrific actor and he could have done a good job sort of adding some nuance and some different flavors to that Joker. I'm not disappointed, though. It's time for them to think, how to sort of pivot and move into a different direction. And hopefully they can convince Joaquin Phoenix to come back and I don't think they're actually going to do the Joker in the Batman movie that they're working on right now with Robert Pattinson. I think they're going to save that card, no pun intended, for later. And who knows, man? Who knows? Joaquin's probably enjoying. I think that this movie is on track to sort of get to the level of Deadpool. Like, it's doing such big numbers. Is it already beat Deadpool? It's huge. It's one of the biggest, highest-grossing R-rated films of all time, this new Joker film, and frankly, it deserves it. Even though it's polarizing and not everybody loves it, and it's about some heavy stuff, it's a really cool, really interesting take, and it's getting people talking about superhero movies in a totally different way, especially in this era where we got Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese just basically saying that all Marvel movies are crap and superhero movies are crap and they have no value. And, suddenly you can say, nope, comic book adaptations have a very healthy place in today's society. And we're going to be talking about one of those, the new Watchmen television show on HBO a little bit later in the show. All right, now Blizzard Entertainment is dealing with loads of controversy right now, but it looks like they're hoping it will all go to hell with their next big project. The studio is apparently on the verge of announcing the long-awaited Diablo 4. Images have appeared online from an upcoming art book called The Art of Diablo, which contains references to the unannounced Diablo 4, meaning that it could be right around the corner. No official announcements have been made, but if Diablo 4 really is on the way, it will likely be unveiled at the annual BlizzCon event in 2 weeks. Last year at BlizzCon, the studio angered fans by announcing the mobile-only Diablo Immortal, so they're probably hoping Diablo 4 will win them back. They need some hits right now, don't they? They need some good news with all of the China esports controversy that's been brewing. And I think because they're sort of caught up in the Activision world as well, with the Activision-Blizzard kind of relationship and people's suspicions about what Call of Duty is going to do with loot boxes and microtransactions and the exclusivity that Call of Duty has for the PlayStation 4, all of that stuff filters into this this general hate on that people have for Activision and Blizzard right now. Certainly the mobile game announcement last year didn't win them any favors either. I think that this would be such an obvious PR move, though, if they announced Diablo 4 at this year's BlizzCon. I mean, it makes sense that they would, but I don't know. I feel like let the simmer. Let people simmer a little bit, let that subside, and then make it a really big announcement. Not sort of like hey, we know how to make you all happy. Here, we got Diablo 4 for you. Not one of those kinds of things. Although I'm excited to see whatever they got cooking for Diablo 4. I hope it's incredible, and I trust that it is. Blizzard makes good games. All right, let's move on. One of Sony's biggest franchises is about to strike out for the last time on the PlayStation 4. Sony has announced that their annual MLB The Show series will return on March 13th with MLB The Show 20. This time around, the cover athlete is Chicago Cubs second baseman Javier El Mago Baez. And the thing that makes this game special is that it will almost certainly be the last in the series built exclusively for the PlayStation 4. Sony's next-gen PlayStation 5 is due out in late 2020, meaning that the ones after this will probably be made for the PlayStation 5 first and then maybe ported to the PlayStation 4 for a couple of years. Hopefully, baseball fans will still be satisfied with this one until that happens. And I love this MLB The Show franchise. I know we don't always talk about sports games on EP, but they've done an incredible job at the Sony San Diego studios. My mind, it does one of these when I think of what they're going to be able to do with the horsepower of the PlayStation 5. That already looks photoreal. This is a gorgeous game. But I always see this happening, though, as we transition to that last year on sort of the existing console as we're pivoting to next generation. They're not always the best version of the game. You'd think that they would be. You'd think that they'd keep iterating, and maybe this will, buck the trend. But generally, the A team on these sports games is already working on the next-gen stuff. So presumably, my prediction would be that they are not going to put their best efforts into this one. It's still probably going to be pretty good, but it's probably going to feel very similar to MLB The Show 19. But I'll play it, I'll review it, and stay tuned for spring next year. Look, I'm making you think about warmer days. It's terrible weather out here in Vancouver. We got to start thinking about the sunshine a little bit. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for our rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. But now, let's take a look at this day in everything cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for October 21st. This is Snake. On this day in 1998, the gaming industry's first stealth franchise snuck into 3D. Metal Gear Solid was released on the PlayStation 1 in North America following its release in Japan a month earlier. The game was a sequel to the original 2D Metal Gear series from a few years earlier, but used the extra power of the PlayStation to create fully 3D environments and character models. Like the previous Metal Gear games, the whole point of Metal Gear Solid is to avoid combat by sneaking around enemies and only getting into fights when absolutely necessary or when the game forces you into a boss battle. Even though the game is 3D, the camera is pretty much locked into a single perspective for each environment, which can make it difficult to see where you're going in certain places, which some fans argue makes the gameplay more interesting and challenging. Metal Gear Solid is also notable for being one of the first games that uses the same character models from the gameplay in its cutscenes, although how well this holds up by today's standards is debatable. The game was a critical and commercial hit, establishing the Metal Gear franchise as one of Konami's biggest properties. A sequel, Metal Gear Solid 2, followed on the PlayStation 2 in 2001. All right, last night on HBO, the new series from Damon Lindelof as the showrunner, Watchmen, premiered, and I watched it. And I am one of those that is watching The Watchmen. Didn't know what to expect from the show. I saw some of the teasers, which were very vague. I didn't really get an idea of what this concept was going to be. I've started to read a little bit now, some interviews and stuff that Damon Lindelof has put out there into the world. And he basically, he owes his career to the Watchmen comic series. He's sort of fessed up to that. And he also got a chance to check out the Zack Snyder Watchmen film when he was making it. So even before it was out in theaters back in 2009, he got an early look at it. And so he felt like it would be crazy for him to take on this property and just remake what Zack Snyder did or what Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons did with the comic series, and he wanted to kind of make it his own, which I think if you're a content creator in Hollywood and you have some hits like he's had with Star Trek and The Leftovers and Lost especially, you get the chance to try some different things. And, I know that Alan Moore, and I think that a lot of fans out there are probably going to echo this sentiment, have expressly, stated, Alan Moore has, that his comic franchise, it is a comic franchise now, much to his chagrin, should never have been ported to anything else in the first place, let alone into new endeavors like a Watchmen TV show. Alan Moore not happy about it. And I suspect that there's going to be a lot of Watchmen fanatics that love the comic series and maybe love the Zack Snyder movie that aren't going to be happy with what Damon Lindelof is putting together with his show. And so it's hard not to think about that. It's hard not to think about this beloved comic property, this beloved film, I think that has grown in estimation in a lot of people's lives over time. And I happen to be a big fan of the Zack Snyder movie as well. I think he did the best that he could to squeeze that incredibly, that incredible material that was so rich and with so many different subplots and characters, squeezed it into a 2 hour, 2.5, 2:45 film. Did a pretty decent job. But Damon Lindelof said, look, I'm going to push my Watchmen story 35 years into the future. It's going to be a lot more contemporary. It's going to be kind of, resonating with 2019, the sort of political sphere that we're existing in right now. There are racists that have co-opted the message of Rorschach and have turned it into their own statement, kind of like the Ku Klux Klan. There's this racist group that's called the Cavalry, or the Seven Cavalry, Cavalry of Seven. I'm not sure. I'm just new to the show. But they're going around and they're killing black people. And the show focuses on a black cop played by Regina King, who has left the force, but she's a superhero, and she's got a bakery, and we get to see her kind of get brought back into the fold a little bit as the onslaught of this cavalry who starts killing cops in the show. It starts to kind of resonate across the force and across the city, and the whole show is based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it starts off with this scene that takes place 100 years in the past, where there is this race war where a bunch of black people are being gunned down, and that's the way that this show begins, and it's awful. It's absolutely brutal, and I think, I don't know what to make of it other than that this is a portrait of a broken, ugly America with some progressive attitudes and ideas. Like the idea that the cops can't pull their weapon out without touching base with headquarters first and asking headquarters to release the weapon before they can go and protect themselves, which is a very different take than the reality that we exist in right now. And there's lots of these little kinds of alt sort of universe and alt history kind of homages scattered throughout here, as well as some some tropes that are absolutely lifted from the comic books, like squids falling out of the sky. We get a rainstorm of squids splattering all over cars. The thing that I appreciated about the show, because I can't reconcile how it matches with the comic or the movie yet. I've only seen one episode, and this is meant to be a twisty, windy season with lots of different subplots and characters. Jeremy Irons is in this, and he has a weird sort of birthday cake scene. Louis Gossett Jr. Plays this character where you recognize the face, and you're like, who is that guy? And he's kind of got a little mysterious moment in there as well. Most of what we saw action-wise focused on Regina King and Don Johnson, who plays this police superintendent guy. And it was terrific to watch him work. He has this whole scene where he has to sing like a song out of a show tune, and he just sings it to this family, and he just gets right into it. And I was like, wow, this is it's very strange, but that's kind of what you expect out of a Watchmen story. If you're going to sort of co-opt the name and flesh out a universe, which I know DC Comics has been doing as well, you have to kind of try some crazy things, and it definitely is overtly political, just the way that Moore and Gibbons kind of set it up, set this whole path for us back in the 80s. And so there's a lot to kind of sort of grab onto with this show. I don't know where it's going to take me, but I've been enjoying it. I think the production qualities are pretty cool, and I like the homages that we get. Like we get a shot of Night Owl's ship in there. I enjoyed what's his face? I forget the actor's name, but he has this reflective mask on as he's interrogating people, and that was a really Tim Blake Nelson is terrific in the show. In this first pilot episode, I've only seen the first pilot episode. I think it's cool. I don't know how it pairs with Watchmen yet, but I like it. It's mysterious. It's creepy. It's not pulling any punches. It's made me uncomfortable already. But I like the performers, and I like the energy of the show. I like the pace of it, and I like all of these weird sort of pieces, these threads that are being laid down for me. And hopefully, they stay the course and they deliver something really wonderful this first season. Some shocking stuff happens in the first episode. I had a good time, though. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. All right. Now, that's not the only review on the run we've got for you. I went out and took a look at Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. So last week I got a code from EA for the new Plants vs. Zombies game. It's called Battle for Neighborville, and I've been playing a lot of it. I've been playing a lot, actually, on my own, but also with my nephew and with my daughter. And everybody in my family's had a big smile on their face. This is a very cute, cluttered, crazy experience, which I think is kind of what you want out of a Plants vs. Zombies game. I dug the previous Garden Warfare titles, and I like their ambition and their kookiness. It was a crazy idea to begin with the idea of these cute little characters shooting at each other. The mechanics were pretty sound, but one thing that kind of hampered me when I played the Garden Warfare games is that they felt a little kludged with all of the tower defense stuff that you had to deal with. So consequently, it was an accessible game and a cutesy game, but it was also a complicated game that got a little clunky for me. And I didn't just get completely lost in it. With Battle for Neighborville, I didn't really find that problem because they've eased off a little bit on the tower defense stuff. You still have missions where you're going to plant plants or zombies in sort of defensive tower situations, but for the most part, this is a class-based shooter. It's almost a little bit like Team Fortress in a way, where you've got a bunch of different characters and different classes with different abilities that, of course, you can level up and you can customize. You've got 7 slots, and you constantly unlock new abilities to fill those 7 slots with. But the cool thing is that everybody has those 7 slots, so you can't be super max overpowered than somebody else, which is great, especially in multiplayer. So you're constantly kind of mixing and matching your abilities, and also you're finding costume items and stuff. This is a game clearly loaded with lots and lots of different economies and lots of different things to collect. You can also promote your characters so they become more powerful and unlock new abilities. And some of those abilities might be that you regain health a little bit faster, or your reload goes up a little bit quicker. So it's not too crazy. It's not like you suddenly gain the ability to leap over buildings or something like that. This is a game filled with zany characters and a lot of fun. I gravitated more to the plant side, which is how the game starts out, and I was really a big fan of the acorn and the tree. Just this super cool combination of being able to have this rapid-fire machine gun, and then you press the transformation button, and boom, you're a giant oak with a rocket launcher. That sort of disparity in power was really fun in the confines of one character. But you can also play as a rose, play as a support character like a sunflower, and give out health like a medic. And on the zombie side, you're going to see similar kinds of things. You can play as this kind of military zombie character with a stink bomb, and the stink bombs are fantastic. They're like nasty smoke grenades where the poison sort of saturates into the plant enemy, and it's really, really fun. Visuals are amazing. The character designs are fantastic. It feels solid. It feels like you're in this cartoon land, and the maps are pretty cool, and they cross like a Wild West town with, period elements. You've also got a suburban town, which looks like something out of the dystopian 1950s. Got this weirding woods kind of area. You can also do some practicing in an area called Giddy Park. And then you've got these hub worlds where you can exist as the plants or the zombies, and you can explore them, and there's lots of targets to shoot and little gnomes to collect and chests to unlock. The explosions hit and they feel palpable. All the sort of bullet fire and the smoke that you have to run through, all of it. I mean, it's all cartoon and it's all sort of set to the context that you're vanquishing your enemies. You're not killing them. It's not like a super violent thing, of course. But it feels very solid. It feels akin to something like the Battlefield games, you know? Like, it's just super fun and tactile to play. And I think it's been purposefully built for you to just wander and explore and find little bits of fun and keep leveling up and keep trying different characters and checking out all the nooks and crannies of the experience. The game is just loaded with little objectives, you know, and little collectibles. And then you get rewarded with costumes and lots of coins. And then you spend some of those coins on experience points, and you can unlock new emojis and things like that as well. And I do have to be honest, like, so many different currencies and coins and marshmallows and tacos and things that you have to bring back to different characters. It gets a little overwhelming, and it certainly brings up the concerns that microtransactions are going to be a big part of this experience. Although when I talked with developers about Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville, they were pretty adamant that this is going to be a very fair game, and it's not going to be overloaded with things that you're going to have to purchase, and you're getting a lot of content. But because so many games have been infiltrated by this insidious microtransaction BS, the concern starts to rise up as you're playing this game. It's like, when are the microtransactions going to come in here and wallop me and rip apart some of this fun that I've been having? So far, I haven't been asked to spend any money, and I've experienced and explored a ton of content in this game. I think EA and the PopCap team worked really hard on this one, and I think it's putting a lot of smiles on people's faces. Definitely my face, and definitely my nephew and my daughter's faces as well. I'm going to give Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville an 8 out of 10. Are we back? Oh, geez. Hello! We are waiting for Jose to pipe in. He's almost on the way back. Our EP graphic. Can you guys see this? Is it going crazy? Woo! Look at that. It's so fun. Taz asked me what's up with my hand, and I went to a pumpkin patch yesterday. It was the rainiest day. I actually was running into people at the pumpkin patch, and I said, "What are we doing here? Why are we here?" We had to get our pumpkins. No one was there though, and we had our pick of pumpkins. So I got a little tattoo. Actually, I went to 2 pumpkin patches. I went to one on Saturday and one on Sunday, and the Saturday one. This little temporary tattoo has been pretty solid. Thanks for noticing, Taz. And it's in the Plants vs. Zombies review I just noticed there. Sean Nilsson gave us a little super chat. You rock, bud, and says, "I enjoy EPN. Please don't stop. Definitely don't plan to. The hashtag is play forever, right?" This is fun. Let's see. 2K20 looks pretty awful. AEW is okay so far, and Raw is okay so far, and Raw is getting much better if you ignore something. The Roos, Lashley, Lana BS. This is like Jose chat right here. I don't know any of that stuff. When Foobs is on, we'll get into the wrestling stuff. Today's WWE Raw is a good treatment for insomnia. We got the hate coming on for the WWE right now here. Breath of the Wild is my side piece. I give it a booty call now and again. Dr. Gamelove. Revealing too much, Dr. Gamelove. You don't really literally have to love your games like that. No, that's that. Oh, he says bad analogy. I mean, I still haven't beaten it yet. Yeah, well, I beat it, and then I went back and tried to unbeat it. I wanted to keep going with this game because it was so beautiful. I loaded up a previous save, and I just never went back to that boss fight again. And now I want to play Breath of the Wild again. This is what happens. You have these conversations about it. Okay, Jose is almost home. And recently he got a chance to go and hang out with some wrestlers, which I know is one of his favorite things to do in life. Let's take a look.
From the Queen City, Charlotte Flair!
As you can tell, I am here with the Queen, the 10-time women's champion, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte, congrats on winning the title, first of all.
Thank
How does
you.
it feel to be the 10-time champ?
Feels like it did when I was the 9-time champ. No, it's just cool to say I'm in double digits.
I was there at Hell in a Cell when it all went down, so it was
Very
exciting
cool.
to watch in person.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about 2K20. Obviously, the women have a huge part of this game, being featured in the showcase mode for the first time. What does that mean for you to be a part of something that special?
I'm just honored to be a part of another milestone, that the showcase feature with the Women's Evolution starts out with me versus Natalia. And that match meant so much to me, and it put me on the map. People now get to go back and relive moments that maybe they didn't know what kind of led us to where we are today, and they can go back and see, like, wow, she really has grown as a performer. And then that 2K, is investing in the women the same way that the company is in our performances.
About time I heard you paid the queen her proper respects, Saxton.
I think it's always exciting anytime you're in the video game. We were just talking with Sam about it. Our kids play the game. They love it. They love the creative player. They love to play as us. They love to beat us on the game. It's pretty cool. I'm watching the Ultimate Warrior from about 1991 wrestle Hulk Hogan from about, 2 weeks ago right now. It's awesome, man. It's cool. You can make a lot of these dream matches a reality that people always wanted to see.
When I came to the WWE in 2016, I think we got our first. That was my first WWE game, so it was cool to be in that. My kids were blown away by it, and to be involved in probably the greatest wrestling game of all time is always, it's really cool.
What do you think about your rating? Because I heard you guys talking to Sam about it. What can we do to get the rating up a little?
Well, it's a factual rating. We had a bad couple of years here, but I hope by next year, by WWE 2K 2021, it will have gone way up.
Let's not overshoot it here. I'm looking for like an 87, 88. We're not going to make that quick of a rise.
But
We're an 81.
I'm looking for an 82.
I'm looking to not be a 79 next year is what I'm looking for.
If we hit the 70s, then I'm just quitting. Putting in my release, and I'm out. All jokes aside about our rating or whatever, but to be able to turn on a video game that, I've played video games since I was 10 years old with Nintendo coming out, and to be able to play as me, and it looks so much like me, it's pretty cool.
We both grew up playing the wrestling games, so to turn it on and see yourself in there, no matter how many times you get to do it, it's always pretty mind-blowing. It's a cool experience for sure.
As big and bad as they come.
October 22nd, 2K20 drops. Who's the first person you face as Roman Reigns?
Seth Rollins, man. I'm going to do it tonight. We might as well do it on the game. That fool's got my championship, you know what I mean? So you bring that Universal Championship and you put it on the line, and I'm going to whoop your ass twice.
What's the first match you put yourself against? Like, who's your first opponent? Who are you throwing down in some sort of special kind of rompus of a match?
Maybe Bianca Blair. I see a lot in her, and she's just got the it factor, and I'd love to, bring out something in her that maybe she didn't know she had.
You can go into the game, edit me, and paint my face.
Yes.
Which is going to be awesome.
A couple of good hoots looking to make a trip to the pay window.
I know you guys partnered with Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that and how that is going to play a role in WWE 2K20?
There's going to be a huge donation from 2K to LLS, and I'm partnered up with the LLS for the Children's Initiative, mainly just to concentrate on finding more cures for children, just because their types of cancer are different than adults. We're putting, all our resources in to help our future. There's just so many different things that we can do to support these kids, and, the fact that WWE 2K20 are all stepping up to help out this situation, not to just, advance research, but to actually help families who need the financial assistance, who are in real life right now. It just means a lot to me and just everybody that supported me. It really just put me in a whole new place. I still love to be in the ring. I still love to entertain and tell those stories, that only WWE can do. But there's just something about being able to bridge it from the ring to the outside world, to be able to make that bridge from the ring to the hospital visits, to where I'm not only just entertaining them, but I'm really helping them. I just feel so much more involved and connected to my fan base, opposed to just being that entertainer for them. It feels really good to be where I'm at now.
Better than ever.
Once in real life and once in the game. And you can beat Seth Rollins in WWE 2K20 when it drops. Too sweet. Always at the top of your game, and now you can be at the top of your game playing with Charlotte Flair in WWE 2K20. Woo!
Hasn't looked back since.
Round of applause for Mr. Jose Sanchez. Isn't it great having him on the show? We're going to have him on Skype here in a second. He said he was getting his PC turned on. about 2 minutes ago, so he should be here in a second. But got some good comments in here, some good questions. Johnny Dark, first of all, that is a very, very sweet gesture there, my friend. EPN, now the classiest channel on YouTube? Dude, that's very nice. That's nice. Now, Blake says now. We try to keep it civilized around here. There's a lot of, I've said this before, there's a lot of angry people on the internet that talk about video game fandom in general. It's like, okay, I guess if you want to watch people ranting all the time. I mean, I have rants. Don't get me wrong. Things get me angry. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. I don't want to make my career out of trying to put that on every day. That would be terrible. That would be brutal. There's too many cool things coming. Even I know everybody's like about Star Wars, but this trailer is hitting tonight, right after Monday Night Football. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. I think there's going to be some cool little bits in there. Apparently, the Ghost ship is in there from Star Wars Rebels. So yeah, they're making some allusions. Yeah. Blake just pointed a finger gun at his head right there. Not so cool. Okay, so Foobs, where are you, buddy? I don't know if you got your PC on, but I'll answer some questions in here. Sam I Am 111 is saying that I think the lack of support from Ukes in this year's WWE is impacting the overall quality of the game. I don't know. Foobs will know. That's something we'll bring up with Jose for sure. So what do you think of the scam that the Limited Run Games is currently doing with them relisting that Revenge of the Bird King game and saying that it is rare and an expensive game because they said so? This is from Anubis the Red. I have no thoughts on this scam. I've never heard of this game, Revenge of the Bird King. And I mean, limited run games. I think you're talking about a limited run business there. You're not going to be too big of a big brand. I think that's trying to crush the little guy. But I mean, maybe they're doing some questionable things there. But no real comment on that. Sorry, pal. Awesome Q&A from Robert Turner. Got a little happy face. There you go. Yeah, I guess I haven't really been doing this too much, right? It's always let's play and chat and stuff. We got a Cethereal Snake saying, Electric Playground! That's the way I like you to reference Electric Playground in all caps with 7 exclamation marks at all times. If you could do that, that'd be great. That's awesome. Johnny Dark Vic is genuine, not a hammed-up, angry persona. I've been doing this too long. It's like, wouldn't that be hilarious if, suddenly, after 20 years of doing this stuff on TV, I have a YouTube persona? That makes me laugh. I should probably try to come up with one of those there. Anubis it's whatever. I don't buy their games because they're not rare. They sell out online, and then they sell them in booths at cons. This is from D-Dub. Dr. Gamelove, to be fair, most limited run games are limited, hence the name. This is from Dr. Gamelove. Emphasis on the doctor. This is a doctor of games, everybody. He knows what he's talking about. Tim M. Vic, have you ever interviewed any wrestlers? Yes, I have. I've interviewed UFC folks and wrestling people, and I look so tiny next to these people, and I know so little about what they do, about how they hurt each other in the rings. And I invariably end up in a headlock, and I go, why did I do that? That was, as part of the gag or whatever. I love them, though. They're awesome on camera. I love having them on camera. And it was like a perfect confluence of events to have Jose join our team because he was such a big wrestling fan, and we would go to these wrestling things. I remember remember when the WWF sued the World Wrestling Federation, the worldwide, Wildlife Fund, yes, sued the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and then they had to change the name to WWE, but then they had a year where we didn't know if we'd said F anymore, or so I think we called it WW. We got WW Wrestling, whatever it was. It wasn't in the 2Ks at that point. And we got emails from wrestling fans saying, what do you mean WW? There is no WW. And it was and Jose was one of those people. But he still ended up working with us. Lots of laugh. I have enough hours in to have a gaming PhD. Honestly, I just love Dr. Strangelove, and this URL was available. It's a good name. Taz, Get the F out. Yes. Question: who would win in a wrestling ring, Vic or Jose? Jose would crush me. Have you seen that guy? He's enormous. Okay, he is good to go. Are you? But wait a second. Is Skype open? He says he is good to go. Let's see. I'm texting with my friend here. I don't see him. We'll try. Let's see. It's the Skype song. Everybody in the cafe is dancing. I'm Skyping you. There he is. Yay! Well, that's me. You got your camera on, Foobs? Dead air. We are live. Are you there? Uh-oh. I don't see him. I'll get him to Skype me back here. There we go. Hold on. Come on, buddy. Where are you? He popped on for a second. Okay. Tapped out. Technical difficulties, please hold. I don't know what it is. Let's see. He might be having some computer issues. Come on, Foobs. It's got to be Skype. It can't be any other thing because that's what we have hooked up, my friend. He's probably watching this on something. Vic making fun of me. No, I'm not, Dr. Gamelove. I did not call myself Sean Nilsson. What, just go to black screen? No, I think this is more fun for everybody to watch me flail around and try to figure this out. He might have like a separate account there or something like that, or not be logged in, or I don't know. There he is. I knew he'd call me. There. You got it working.
My phone.
Oh, you got it on your phone.
Technology has failed me.
Yeah, the computers are punishing. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can. Do me a favor. Go landscape. You have the technology. There you go. That's much better.
There
That's
it is.
awesome.
Well, hello.
That you look good. Should we
I
have
get
a
my
little
good
window
angles
of me
from
and
here.
his
Check that out.
forehead like that? Is that good? Yeah. No, we're not going to do that. We'll move that off camera. Okay, Foobs. How was the wrestling event? And people want to know your take on WWE 2K20. How was that wrestling event?
The event was awesome. It was, I mean, for me as the resident wrestling fan, it was my third week in a row of going to live wrestling for WWE.
Wow.
So I was like on the road with them all the time, just seeing the same guys. Be like, hey, you again? I'm like, yes, I've been everywhere.
Do they all know you? Do they know? Do they think you're part of the entourage now, or what's going on?
No, I mean, I know, like, I'm good friends with the guy who was the champ up until about 2 weeks ago, and then he lost. Not that he's no longer my friend, but he lost. He's not the champ anymore.
Oh, so he lost. He's not the champ, and he's no longer. You disowned him as a friend.
I mean,
Sounds
I
like you.
kind of had to. I was like, bro, we can't really hang out.
Who was that?
Anymore.
Who was that?
It was Kofi Kingston.
Okay. Wow.
Kofi, yeah.
And
that was
so
my dog.
he wasn't at this last event then?
No, he wasn't at the event. He was wrestling, but he wasn't at the event itself.
Okay. What was this event? What was going on? Obviously, you got to talk to everybody about the game, but what was going on at the event?
Yeah, so it was just sort of a first hands-on impression for WWE 2K20, and they invited some of the talent out because it was at this. They had it in like one of the suite areas at the arena that they were doing the wrestling show at that night. So some of the other wrestlers who weren't even supposed to be there just showed up, popped in. One of my good friends, Xavier Woods, shout out to the Up Up Down Down YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I texted him in the middle, and I was like, bro, I took your belt because they have an Up Up Down Down belt, so I stole it. So I have it. I just didn't give it back.
There you go. That's good.
I took it from the current champ, Becky Lynch, the man.
How was the game?
The game was great. I mean, I only got to play. They had it set up in chunks, so groups of different media could play at different times instead of people trying to do interviews over the top of trying to get gameplay footage. They've done some new things. Like I'm excited to play more. It comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's the first game that Ukes hasn't been involved in.
That's what Sam I am 111 commented. He's always got some great points on stuff, and you can feel it, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I mean they're trying to do new things with it, and it's one of those things where I feel like people are going to have to play with it for this iteration of the game, and then next year it's going to have what 2K did with basketball when they took over the basketball world with their games, and they just had that certain polish and that certain look about it.
So wait a second, Visual Concepts it was named as I saw in the footage. Did they make it?
Yeah.
So it was made in the same with the same group that makes NBA 2K?
I'm not sure if it's the same group.
Yeah.
But it's Visual Concepts is taking the reins on
in North Bay up there.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's a big change because Ukes has had it for a while, right?
I mean, they've done it since the N64 days.
What happened?
I don't know. I think it's just a Visual Concepts thing. I think, being that it's a 2K game, they want it to feel like a 2K game instead of like a UK partnered or 2K partnered with a Ukes game.
Right. So what's the fallout then? Like, what are you hearing from other fans? Because this is a big change.
I don't know. I mean, again, the game doesn't come out until tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see because they've done some changes with the controls that I think people are either going to really love or really hate. Like the reversal things. The reversals have been on the top bumper buttons since N64.
Yeah.
And now it's the Y button or the triangle button, whatever you're playing on. So it's like it used to kind of like it's like when you're in the middle of playing with the face buttons, it's kind of like to get up to that trigger button in time. It was always like a challenge. Now it's just like one of the buttons that you can easily hit. So it's going to be interesting to see how if it makes it feel easier to play, or if it dumbs it down a little bit.
One of the things they're hyping up is the story mode, which looks a lot like the NBA story mode, which I love that mode in NBA. How was that to play for you?
It was cool. I mean, it's there's a Bay Area guy, AJ Kirsch. He did all the voice acting and a lot of the mocap for the last year's game.
Okay.
And so he's back again to do the story mode for this season. And then they've added a female story mode as well. So it's like a guy and a girl going on their 2K journey to become WWE champion.
That's cool. That's like that wrestling movie that The Rock produced.
Yeah, Fighting with Your Family. Or
Yeah.
Fighting with My Family. His family.
Yeah, Fighting for. Yeah. Did you see the movie?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Do you have to see everything related to wrestling? Is that part of your contract?
I mean, yeah. I feel like I love it enough. It's what I love. You know what I mean? Like until the WWE comes calling saying we need this guy. I'm like, listen, guy.
I'm noticing some anger in the comments here. I'll see. Okay, now we have other promotions like AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, ROH, NWA, MLW, among many others. Now we have actual alternatives to WWE, and many people are taking notice. This is from Ryoga 316. Are you feeling like there is a bit of an exhaustion with WWE, or is it just more choice because WWE has made so many fans?
Yeah, I don't think it's an exhaustion. I mean, granted, there's a lot of wrestling on.
Yeah.
But I think it can only benefit the product. Like people are going to have to step it up, especially, WWE, who's been, the front runner of professional wrestling, at least televised pay-per-view. Like they've been running the show for a very long time. And now with especially companies like AEW, which has started off incredibly strong, and they just started their TV, promotion a couple weeks ago to coincide with the WWE's, NXT brand. That's going to be a good fight for wrestling fans. Like it's the Wednesday Night War is what everybody's calling it, because back in the day it was the Monday Night War between WCW and WWE.
Yeah.
And now we got the Wednesday Night War between AEW and NXT,
and
which is going to make for better wrestling product. Like people aren't going to be able to just chill out. Here's these guys again. People are going to be like, well, which show should I watch?
Yeah.
If you don't have a DVR that can record them both.
Right.
What are you doing? Get on there.
What were the wrestlers talking about for the competition out there? Like, what do you get? Do you feel like everybody feels like it's going to rise up the awareness and the value of the content?
I mean, I think even the wrestlers appreciate that there's competition.
Yeah.
Instead of just I know a lot of the wrestlers, especially a lot of the wrestlers in today's market they've come from either one or the other, or they've been to one or the other. Or, so they know what it's like. They know, like, they can talk a little bit of trash. They're all taking cheap shots at each other, especially Chris Jericho, Canada's favorite son.
Yeah.
who's the current champ on AEW, he's always taking pot shots at WWE, and the WWE takes subtle pot
That's
shots.
great,
back at
man. That's what it should
It
be
is.
about, right? Yeah.
It's like it's just like, yes, everybody wants a better product, and it's going to make more wrestling fans out of it. And if people like one, like the other, so be it. As long as you like wrestling, I think that's what they care about.
Awesome.
And it's just a really good time again. It's like back in the NWO and DX days of long past.
I'm getting people putting out shout-outs like that for sure. I have to agree that anybody not watching both NXT and AEW are missing out. They're both great. That's from Tim M. Somebody asked if China is in the game.
Yeah.
She is? Was there a bit of an homage to her or anything like that, or what are they doing?
I don't think. Well, I think the big thing they're doing this year is they're focusing on the women's revolution of wrestling, which is very cool because, I mean, the women's wrestling has just exploded over the last few years. With last year, they had like their first all women's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The women main evented WrestleMania this year, and that's sort of like there's Becky Lynch is the cover athlete of WWE 2K20. Like, she was the first pick in the draft last week. It's just, I mean, for the women, it's cool that they're finally getting the showcase they deserve because their talent level has just, you watch wrestling matches from, I mean, Lita, Trish Stratus, like their late 90s, early 2000s era of wrestling was just like, wow, these girls are stepping it up. But now it's like all of them do that.
Wow. And are they putting in a bunch of legacy characters and stuff?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
They always do?
The rosters, I don't even think they've finalized. I think they're still like there's going to be doing DLC packs, but there's going to be legends. Even their commercial that they had was just full of like, the Hulk Hogan's, your Stone Colds, Stings, Ric Flairs, obviously the Man, Becky Lynch. I just love that she's the Man. She just posted something. It was like a year ago she called herself the Man, and it completely changed the landscape of women's wrestling.
Oh, wow.
For forever.
That's awesome, man. We got Rick Savage said, ha ha, Jose ditched Kofi.
Never. Kofi's still my dog. Still my boy.
I got a question from Ryoga316. How is WWE 2K20's creator wrestler feature compared to previous incarnations? Good question there, Ryoga316.
Tis a good one. I didn't really dive into the creator. I was just mostly playing matches.
Yeah.
At the press event. I mean, they had a lot of the stuff was open. They're doing a lot of like visual eye candy for the sake of.
They know how to make pretty games over there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can like you're wrestling in a graveyard in a Wyatt compound. You're just like beating people over the head with a tombstone. I saw a guy call upon like ghouls that grabbed this dude by his legs and he smashed him over the head with a tombstone, and they pinned him. And it was just like, what? There was a funny moment. This guy on YouTube, Dankops, was playing my buddy Xavier Woods from the Up Down Down channel, and they had a match. And Xavier Woods at one point took the turnbuckles off the rope, like took the cover off the turnbuckles. And then Chris hit him with some kind of finisher. He went for the pin, and the ref, instead of counting, was like, "Something's not right. I need to go fix these turnbuckles." And he like walks over.
No
he
way.
starts putting the turnbuckle back. I was like, "What's happening? I just hit him with the finisher. This is go time." The ref's like, "He's doing his job. Ref's on point. You got to make sure that everything is going by the book, and you got to put these turnbuckle covers back on."
That is awesome.
If you're in a heated feud and you're about to get pinned, take off the turnbuckle covers. Could save you if the ref's good enough.
So what is Ukes going to do now? Are they making another wrestling game? Or did they do Fire Pro?
I have no idea.
They're not Fire Pro, right?
I don't know the background of exactly how it came to fruition.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, they've had such a long history of creating these games. It's a shame if they don't get to do it anymore. It would be wild if they started.
It sounds
doing
like all these
AEW
other leagues or all these other type, wrestling organizations are coming out there. Speaking of which, Uncle Jay says WCW versus NWO for N64 was my favorite, and I even bought it a few months ago. Honestly, haven't played any of the 2K series, but really enjoyed the SmackDown games on PlayStation 1. That's the thing about these games, right? Like, it's not just the eras of wrestling that people have a real love and adoration for, but also these different years of these different games really matter to different people.
There's Xavier Woods, he's a teammate of Kofi Kingston, so they're in the same the New Day faction.
Yeah.
He's big. He's one of the biggest gamers in the WWE, and him and another wrestler, they do like a GM mode from like SmackDown versus Raw, from like the old PS2 WWE games. They're like, when can we get a GM mode in the new games, guys? Let's get this going. So it's funny to see like some of the modes that people really love. Like there used to be create a finisher, and you can name your finisher on the old PlayStation SmackDown games. And I'm like, I want to name my finisher, have some cool name pop up. You just got FUBAR.
I'm surprised that isn't in there.
It should be.
What is your favorite year of wrestling games so far?
Oh man, I mean, I've always loved the SmackDown games. Just they were so crazy cool looking when they first came out. But back in the No Mercy, obviously, which is one of the favorite wrestling games. There's a Japanese wrestling game that came out after No Mercy that was only on the Japanese N64 called Virtual Pro Wrestling 2.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
And it was like the sequel to No Mercy that never came out in America, and it was just. For the people who got to play it, they know. If you played VPW2, you know. I got a box copy sitting on my shelf right there. I'm like,
our friend Johnny Dark has a non-wrestling question. I don't know if you're qualified to answer this one, but it's pretty safe. It is Jose pumped for Modern Warfare?
That game looks awesome. Yeah. I haven't really sat down and like played. Like I missed Battlefield V5, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been playing a lot of Dead Cells still, years later.
Are you
waiting
kidding
for that Spelunky? I'm still waiting for that Spelunky 2 drop.
Yeah,
Spelunky 2 is coming soon.
Sometimes the games just grab you, but you know what? You're going to get a code for. I'm not even going to ask 2K for a code for WWE, right? You've got one lined up.
It's downloading right now.
Okay, will you review that for us? Will you shoot the review, and we'll do a review on the run of you reviewing that game?
Yeah,
that would be great, dude. That would be awesome.
Let me double check. Let me make sure my PlayStation. I downloaded it on my phone.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully it's going. PlayStation.
Adrian Leon says, "What's your favorite N64 wrestling gag? Was it VPW?
VPW2. I mean, No Mercy is my go-to, just because people know that game. But if they played Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, they know.
So you're downloading the game right now, and Adrian's also wondering if you're going to be. Spike Chunsoft developed Fire Pro Wrestling World. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. I am. Adrian wants to know if you're going to be streaming WWE 2K20.
Yeah, most likely. I need to get back.
Deck for you?
I haven't streamed in a while. I've been too busy traveling with WWE. I've been really I was like, how do these guys find this time? They're like, man, I've hung out with these guys. They were in San Francisco. Then we did the Staples Center in LA. Then we did Vegas. I couldn't go to Indianapolis this past week. I missed it. It was my first SmackDown I've missed in a month.
You are still living the dream, my friend. I love it. You're doing it.
I got to, man. I love me my pro wrestling sports.
And this man is an engaged man. He asked his girlfriend to marry him. Was it last month? Congratulations, my friend.
It's 4th of July, man. And then my fiance decided that she was going to take a job in Australia for 3 months, which was great. She finally came back this week, and I was just like, man, I haven't seen her in 40 days. And she's like, I'll be on for a couple weeks, and then she's leaving again for 5 weeks. But it's okay because I'm going to go down to Australia and visit her.
Seriously, she's working out of Australia and living in Australia?
Yeah, man. I mean, she was until this past Friday when she came home.
And now you're going to go back down and hang out with her a little bit.
Yeah, I want to go down. I want to go down under. If you know what I mean. You're going to be in Australia. That's all I got. You know.
Well, congrats, brother. I'm going to talk with you about getting this review out of you, but also let's figure something for you to shoot something back from Australia. That would be awesome. Lots of great game makers down there.
I caved in. I got the new iPhone, and I had the 7 Plus for forever, and I was like, that camera's pretty sleek. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and get that new 11.
That camera's fantastic for shooting. So let's get some stuff with you. But thank you for joining us, my friend. We call him Professor Wrestling right there. This is awesome. You are the man for the job. Thank you, Foobs. Enjoy WWE 2K20. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. Everybody.
Too sweet, guys.
Jose Sanchez. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We actually have to wrap up, but I'll answer a couple more questions. I actually said goodbye to you, but he's still here. That's all right. We're live.
He's gonna hang out.
I'll answer a couple more questions. So we don't have time for Let's Play and Chat because we've got another event in the VFS Cafe here at 390 West Hastings that starts right at 6. So we have to pack it all up. Let's see. We got a great to see you, Jose Sanchez. See you later. We got a clap, clap, clap from Danito Dantas, which is awesome. VR Grid, shout out to Jose's cameo in Republique, now in VR, by the way.
Fat me in all VR glory. My face looking like this, though.
Oh, my God, that's a close-up. Now Ryan Payton and Camouflage are working on Iron Man. Can you believe it?
I know.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
And I'm in VR.
You could hang from a helicopter, and here comes the pain. What other wrestling game has that? That's from Super Bob. See,
you can drop mad elbows from helicopters.
Yes, you could. Everybody's got a favorite wrestling game. Adam Wilkinson
wrestling games
says,
have been around since forever.
Yes, I know. Well, it's just a great fit with video games. Did you play the new ukulele? Adam Wilkinson asks. No, I haven't gotten to that yet. I have a few sort of indie-sized games on deck, but I do want to play that. I played the first one and I enjoyed that. So I'll try to line that up. Question for Jose: what is the most underrated wrestling game? Have you tried TNA Impact? That's a good one. Sam I Am 111.
I don't know if that was underrated. That game was pretty terrible. You know what I did love? I typed it in the chat, but ECW. There was an ECW game on the Dreamcast because I was a big ECW mark back in the day, and they had you could wrestle with barbed wire ropes. And it was like when you throw a guy into it, you'd see like the scratches on his back from him hitting the rope, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen."
Shout out to WWE Crush Hour with the Twisty Rockets. That's from Jack the Ripper 3000.
That was like their Twisted Metal game.
You guys are talking about it all here, by the way. This has turned into a wrestling podcast, which is crazy. Question: is Def Jam Fight for New York the best wrestling game? The answer is yes. That's from Derek Spillane. I would give that one a vote. I love that game.
You know what? The world could use another Def Jam Fight.
I know.
For anything.
We had Josh Holmes on the show not too long ago. He works at Midwinter now, and he was at EA, and he had that whole pitch. He put that whole thing together, he and his team, not by himself. But, the crazy story and a crazy cool game. And I want EA to take big risks like that again. What's that? Oh, yeah.
Punches and punches. Like, wow. Killing it.
Dr. Gamelove says, did you play Exit the Gungeon past your initial impressions? No, I have not yet, but I did enjoy it. It's on Apple Arcade.
Oh, snap.
Yep.
This new phone, I got to check out the arcade game.
Yeah, no, Apple Arcade.
You know what else is on the arcade? Dead Cells, just saying.
Is Dead Cells on arcade? No, I don't think so.
It's not on the arcade, but
it's on iPhone, yeah. Have you got it on your iPhone?
I have it on everything.
You got it everywhere.
It's my new
if it exists, you own it. Yeah. Do they have action figures for Dead Cells yet?
I'm sure somebody has.
Somebody's
had to have made.
You're going to create your own. WCW versus NWO Revenge for the win. I'm surprised how many of you love wrestling games. This is crazy. I'm learning a lot about you today.
On my desk somewhere. I think it's in my N64 right now.
Is it? Yeah. Brian Frober, you just sold another copy of Dead Cells there, Foobs. Brian Frober says, I need to buy Dead Cells. It's an amazing game, you guys. Has anyone played Wu-Tang Shaolin style? It was definitely a crude precursor to Def Jam. Not good. That's from AYC Super Bob. Did you ever play Wu-Tang Shaolin style?
Oh, yeah. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to mess with.
Yeah? Okay. He's got doing it up. I love it. Has anyone played... Oh, that was that one. No Mercy we got from VR Grid. Is there a wrestling game in VR Grid?
There should be.
Has anybody done that? I could see a lot of living rooms get destroyed if there was a wrestling game in VR. Fire Pro Wrestling, what's that? The Creed one, yeah. Fire Pro Wrestling G on PlayStation 1. Not yet, VR Grid says. No VR wrestling game. There you go. That VR Grid could make that. Frank B1 gives a shout-out for Fire Pro Wrestling G on the PlayStation 1. Mr. B's Baseball Break says, I'm waiting for Dead Cells to go on sale. I don't want to pay the Switch tax. It's pretty amazing on the Switch, though, right?
It's so good.
Is that your favorite game? Or is that your favorite way to play it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
do. It's just easy to travel with. It's amazing. Like, I finally caved in and got the what is it, the Xbox Game Pass, because I don't know why I didn't do that for the longest time.
Yeah.
And the first game that popped up was like, you'd probably like Dead Cells. And I said, you'll probably right, Xbox. Let me go ahead and download this game.
What do you get out of Dead Cells after playing it so much? Like, what happens?
No, they're always updating it. They're always adding new bosses, new content, new ways to explore, new weapons. It's never stopped updating. It's been like 3 years.
And it's a procedural game, so it's a different maze every time, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's different paths you can take. They keep updating it. And they keep updating it. I'm gonna keep playing it.
That's awesome. Oh, we got from Brian Frobear. Thanks for highlighting my friend Brad's arcade. I want to go back to that arcade in New Westminster where I shot with Johnny Millennium from Happy Console Gamer. That arcade is dope. I don't know what it's called though. I forget the name of it, but it's fantastic and the shots look great. Definitely want to go back. What's it called? Oh, Capital City Arcade. Yeah, thanks, Blake. So cool. Saturday Night Slam Masters was a wrestling game by Capcom, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
This is this is turning into the wrestling hour. I love it. Capital City Arcade from Brian Frobear. That's right. I got to play the new Celeste levels. Oh, right. Celeste has some new content out there, too. Okay, my friends, that is going to do it for this episode of EP Live. We will get into some Let's Play action in the next episode, I promise. I promise, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. Wednesday is still coming together, but we're going to have a nice, fresh, brand new episode of EP Live for you. 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern Standard. If you're in Vancouver, come down to the VFS Cafe and watch in person. It's at 390 West Hastings, or you can watch the stream from the comfort of your own home. Thanks for watching, everybody. Foobs, love you, buddy. Miss you, pal. And you know what you got to do, right? You got to play forever.